Sophie Cunningham was the first to cheer as Caitlin Clark etched her name into history. What began as a casual team appearance alongside Cunningham and Lexie Hull quickly turned into a defining moment when Clark shattered a new world record at a golf event, leaving fans stunned and cameras rolling. The roar of the crowd wasn't just for her swing. It was for everything she brought with it: poise, presence, and a contagious sense of camaraderie that lit up the course. The sight of three WNBA athletes radiating joy and mutual pride was a snapshot of women's sports at its most powerful, connected, unguarded, and transformational.
If you're here for the real story and not the filtered version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better definitely subscribe.
What stood out even more was Clark's control over the entire narrative. Her CC logo, Nike gear, and even the Stanley-branded accessories weren't just fashionable. They were signals of strategic evolution into a modern athlete entrepreneur. By the time the day ended, it wasn't just about a scorecard. It was about an unmistakable shift in what visibility, influence, and cross-sport relevance look like when one athlete owns her moment completely. Caitlin Clark just did it again, this time not with a basketball in her hand, but a golf club. And yes, she broke a world record. Let that sink in for a second. One of the most talked about athletes in the world just crossed into another sport and shattered a record. And she made it look easy. Her performance at a recent golf event didn't just catch attention. It dominated headlines. Because this wasn't just about golf. It was about an athlete stepping into a new arena and proving, once again, that her talent knows no boundaries. The record-breaking moment was massive. But what made it feel even more iconic was the celebration that followed. Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull, Clark's teammates and close friends, were right there with her, reacting with genuine excitement and pride. It wasn't a forced media moment or a choreographed celebration. It was real. It was raw. And it showed the side of Clark that fans love the most. The friend, the teammate, the one who lifts everyone around her. The footage said it all. Sophie lit up like she'd just watched someone win the Super Bowl. Lexie couldn't stop smiling. The energy was contagious. It wasn't about the cameras or the attention. It was about a shared moment of victory and joy. That kind of camaraderie, you can't fake that. And Clark didn't let the moment go to her head. Even after breaking a world record, she kept it cool, joking with teammates, engaging with fans, laughing in interviews. That groundedness is part of why she connects so deeply with people. She's never too big for the moment, even when the moment is huge. But make no mistake, this wasn't just a wholesome feel-good event. It was a strategic showcase of everything Clark is becoming: an elite athlete, a smart entrepreneur, a brand powerhouse, and a cultural icon. Her look that day was polished and intentional. From her custom Nike outfit to her personalized golf gear, everything was branded down to the details. The CC logo, front and center. And it wasn't just Nike on display. Clark's collaboration with Stanley also made an appearance, signaling that her partnerships are growing, and she's doing it on her own terms. She's not just taking endorsements. She's building a legacy. That's what separates Caitlin Clark from the average athlete. She's not just playing games. She's playing the long game. Her moves are intentional. Her brand is expanding, and she knows exactly what she represents. Not just to fans, but to a new generation of athletes who see in her a model for how to do it all, on the court, on the course, and in the world of business. The cross-sport angle here wasn't a side story. It was the story. Caitlin Clark, the face of women's basketball, showing up to a golf event, breaking records and dominating the conversation. That's power. And it sent a message that goes beyond numbers. She's not just participating in multiple sports. She's redefining what a modern athlete looks like. Her interactions with Nelly Korda, one of golf's biggest stars, drove that point home. The two shared genuine admiration, laughing, exchanging playful banter, and showing the kind of mutual respect that only comes from recognizing greatness in someone else. It was a masterclass in how athletes from different disciplines can come together, not in competition, but in celebration. That moment between Clark and Korda was more than just a nice visual. It was a glimpse into what women's sports could be: interconnected, collaborative, mutually supportive, and most importantly, visible. These weren't isolated stars in their own silos. This was a meeting of equals, creating something bigger together. And then there was a fan response. From young girls clutching mini basketballs and golf balls to full-on meet and greets, the energy was overwhelming. Clark didn't just shake hands and pose for photos. She engaged. She knelt down to eye level. She made conversation. She made people feel seen. That level of connection can't be trained. That's just who she is. It's why she's more than just a headline. She's a role model. One moment in particular stood out. A young girl, barely 8 years old, nervously stepped up for a photo. Clark didn't just smile and move on. She took the time to ask her name, compliment her outfit, and make her feel like she mattered. For that little girl, that wasn't just a cool encounter, it was a core memory. And for everyone watching, it was a reminder of why Clark's influence goes way beyond stats and sponsorships. What she's building isn't just a fan base. It's a community. And that community includes her fellow athletes. Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull weren't just there to cheer her on. They were part of the story. Their presence, their support, their laughter. Those were key ingredients in making the event feel different. This wasn't just about one woman's victory. It was about a team spirit, a shared moment, and a reminder that even the biggest wins are better when you're surrounded by people who get it. That's what makes Clark's journey feel so fresh. She's ambitious without being unapproachable. She's competitive without isolating herself. She's driven without losing her humility. And that's why brands keep coming back. Nike sees the value. Stanley sees it. Every time she steps into a new space, she brings with her not just fans, but trust. People believe in her, and that's what makes her marketable. Not just because she's talented, but because she's real. Clark's evolution into an entrepreneur is no accident. She's making choices with longevity in mind. Every partnership, every logo drop, every public moment. It's curated, yes, but it never feels forced. She's balancing strategy with authenticity in a way that few athletes ever manage. Her presence at the golf event wasn't about proving she can do more than shoot a basketball. It was about expanding what it means to be an athlete in 2025. Because today, success in sports isn't just about points. It's about platform, influence, identity. And Caitlin Clark is setting the standard. As the footage of her record-breaking swing spreads, as fans share photos of their meet and greets, as athletes repost clips of her celebration with Sophie and Lexie, one thing becomes clear. This was more than a sports moment. This was a cultural shift. A moment where basketball met golf, where sport met business, where fame met authenticity, and it all worked. This wasn't Caitlin Clark riding a wave. This was Caitlin Clark creating one. And if this is what she's doing now, then where is she headed next? Because this isn't the peak. This isn't the final form. This is the start of something even bigger. A career that's already reshaping the landscape for women athletes and showing the world what it looks like when someone refuses to be put in a box. So if you've been following her journey from college dominance to WNBA stardom to record-breaking appearances in other sports, stay locked in. Because Caitlin Clark isn't just winning. She's building. And everyone else is finally starting to catch on. If you want to keep following the rise of the biggest force in women's sports right now, hit that like button. Drop your reactions in the comments, especially if you caught the moment live. And subscribe so you never miss a move. Because Caitlin Clark is changing the game in real time. And we're just getting started. Caitlin Clark breaking a world record at a golf event wasn't just another moment in a highlight reel. It was a defining chapter in the rise of an athlete who is quietly, consistently, and powerfully changing the entire culture of sports. This record? It wasn't about scorecards or rankings in a traditional golf sense. It was about presence, influence, the kind of record that happens when the lines between sports, branding, and cultural relevance completely disappear, and what's left is one person standing in the center of it all, owning every inch of it. The significance of this moment can't be overstated. Clark has already proven herself in basketball, over and over again, from leading her college team to record-breaking viewership to becoming the face of the WNBA's next generation. She's carried that spotlight with grace, intensity, and a level of poise most athletes never fully develop. But this moment on the golf course, this was different. This wasn't just about competition. This was about expansion. Because what Caitlin Clark did on that green wasn't simply teeing off. It was stepping into a new kind of territory. Cultural crossover icon. Think about who was there with her. Sophie Cunningham, Lexie Ho. Two athletes who shared court time, locker rooms, and now a front row seat to Clark's expanding empire. They weren't just there to support. They were part of the celebration. They were part of the movement. The look on Sophie's face when Clark hit that record-breaking shot, that was admiration. That was joy. That was pride in seeing someone you've grinded with, someone you've trusted, go out and make history on a different stage. It was genuine. You could feel it. Lexie, always composed, couldn't hide her excitement either. And that's what made this moment so impactful. It wasn't just about what Clark achieved. It was about what it meant for women's sports as a whole. Athletes supporting athletes. Teammates turning into cheerleaders. Friends watching each other win in real time, on a platform bigger than they've ever been given before. This wasn't just camaraderie. This was visibility, solidarity, and momentum all rolled into one. And then, of course, there was Nelly Korda, a star in her own right, a golf phenom. Watching her and Clark interact, two elite women at the top of their respective games. It felt like a passing of the torch in every direction. Korda didn't just nod politely. There was banter. There was warmth. There was mutual respect. Two women who understand the grind, who know what it means to carry expectations, to push forward when the cameras fade. It was a small moment, but an important one, because that kind of athlete-to-athlete connection is what helps dismantle the outdated idea that women in sports have to stay in their lane. Caitlin Clark is not staying in any lane. She's building highways between them, and the power of that, it's showing. Her branding was flawless. The Nike outfit, coordinated down to her shoes, was both sharp and functional. Her CC logo is no longer just a personal brand. It's a statement. One that says, I'm not just playing the game. I'm owning it. Then you factor in the Stanley collaboration, her growing list of sponsors, and how seamlessly these pieces fit together at this event. It didn't feel like she was showing off. It felt like she was curating her image, intentionally, professionally, confidently. Everything Caitlin Clark does now has a ripple effect. Her presence doesn't just boost the space she's in. It elevates everyone around her. From young fans who line up hours early just to catch a glimpse, to the fellow athletes who got more visibility just by standing next to her. This is what happens when someone becomes a cultural force. One young girl in particular caught everyone's attention. She showed up wearing Clark's jersey, yes, to a golf event. And when she finally got her moment with Caitlin, the interaction was unforgettable. Clark didn't rush. She didn't wave and move on. She talked to her. She asked her about her own sports journey. She made her feel seen. That's the part of Clark's story that never gets old. For every media flash, for every endorsement, she still shows up as that person, the one who sees the kid in the crowd, the one who remembers what it's like to dream from the stands. That ability to stay grounded while flying so high is rare. And it's exactly why she's not just a star. She's a blueprint. Her impact is measurable, not just in numbers, but in energy. The vibe around her is different. People want to be near her. Brands want to align with her. Other athletes want to train with her. She's magnetic, not because she demands attention, but because she draws it without trying to outshine others. And that's what's making this movement sustainable. Because what Caitlin Clark is doing isn't just moment-making, it's foundation building. It's the beginning of a new structure in women's sports where individual excellence, personal branding, and cross-sport collaboration aren't seen as distractions, but as necessities. That's the future. And Clark is already there. She's a multidimensional athlete today's world was always going to need. Someone who can show up at a golf course, break a world record, hug it out with her teammates, banter with a golf legend, and still make time for kids waiting with posters and Sharpies. Someone who can smile for the cameras, then turn around and launch a new product with her logo on it. Someone who can play the game, shape the narrative, and elevate the entire ecosystem at once. And the world is finally starting to catch on, because if this event proved anything, it's that Clark's reach isn't tied to a basketball court. It's not confined to one sport, one league, or one demographic. She's cutting through all of it. And what's most impressive, She's doing it with consistency. This wasn't a viral one-off. This wasn't a lucky break. This was a result of every decision she's made since stepping into the spotlight, from how she conducts herself to who she aligns with, to the way she treats fans and teammates. Every part of Caitlin Clark's journey has been intentional, and it's paying off. Because she's not just building a career. She's building a movement. One that says women athletes can be icons, that their stories deserve attention, that their achievements, whether on the court or on the green, are worth breaking news. So when you see Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull losing on the sidelines, genuinely losing it, when you hear the roar from the crowd, when you scroll through social media and it's nothing but praise, excitement, and awe, remember, this is just the beginning. Caitlin Clark isn't finished. Not even close. And if this is what she can do in a single day, in a sport she doesn't even professionally compete in, the ceiling hasn't just been raised. It's been shattered. What Caitlin Clark did that day wasn't just about swinging the club. It was about swinging the conversation in a completely new direction. For years, women's sports have fought to be seen, to be marketed, to be respected. And now here comes Caitlin, breaking a world record at a golf event and flipping the entire sports ecosystem on its head. She didn't need a tournament title. She didn't need weeks of media buildup. She just needed to show up, be herself, and let the rest fall into place. Because at this point, Clark is a draw. She doesn't need to be propped up. She is the storyline. And whether she's draining threes in front of sold-out WNBA arenas or driving a golf ball farther than most expected, the result is the same. People show up. People care. People talk. And that's the power we're dealing with here. Her ability to cross into other sports and still command that level of attention isn't normal. It's revolutionary. What makes it even more impressive is how she carries it. No ego. No arrogance. Just confidence. The kind that comes from knowing you've earned the spotlight, and you're going to use it wisely. Clark isn't loud about her influence, but she doesn't have to be. The numbers, the crowds, the brand deals, the fans, all of it speaks for itself. She's part of a new class of athletes who are doing more than performing. They're shaping the culture around them. And in Caitlin's case, she's doing it while still making time to connect on the most human level. That day on the green, she wasn't just breaking records and making headlines. She was giving little girls in the crowd permission to dream bigger. Not just about being athletes, but about being seen, being marketed, being celebrated, being invited into rooms that once seemed off limits. It's no longer just about what Clark is achieving on the scoreboard. It's about the message her presence sends to every young athlete watching, that you can build a brand without selling out, that you can move through multiple spaces without losing who you are. That success can be expansive, multifaceted. Yours. Her interaction with Nelly Korda cemented that. It wasn't competitive. It wasn't performative. It was two professionals from completely different sports recognizing the work, the discipline, the visibility each brings to the table. That kind of respect between athletes doesn't just happen. It's earned. And Clark's earned it without ever having to dominate someone else's space. She doesn't walk into a room to take it over. She walks in and makes everyone else feel like they belong there too. And that's what made the energy around the record-breaking moment so special. It wasn't just that Clark hit a shot that will be remembered. It's that she made everyone around her part of it. From Sophie and Lexie reacting like proud sisters, to the young fans screaming from the sidelines, to Korda giving her a nod of genuine appreciation. It felt like something bigger than a personal victory. It felt collective, like a win for all of women's sports. And then there's the business side of it all, because let's be honest, this wasn't just an athletic flex. This was also a masterclass in brand strategy. From head to toe, Clark was wrapped in intentionality. The Nike outfit didn't just look good. It told a story. The CC logo? That wasn't just for flair. It was a signature. And her partnership with Stanley? Right there in the frame. This wasn't some chaotic product placement situation. It was clean, cohesive, and hers. What we're watching is a rise of an athlete who's not just playing the game, but reshaping the entire infrastructure around it. The old model of shut up and play is done. Clark is building her brand on her own terms, and other athletes are taking notes. The crossover between basketball and golf? That's not an accident. That's a strategy. She's choosing visibility across platforms. She's choosing to show up in new spaces, not just for the sake of being different, but because she belongs in every one of them. There's a reason her name trends every time she makes a move. It's because each move has meaning. It's layered, and it leaves a trail behind it, one that other athletes can now follow. And still, in the middle of all this, she remains grounded. The meet and greets that day weren't rushed. She stopped. She smiled. She asked kids their names. She made time. That kind of grace in the middle of all this chaos is rare, and it's real. You can't fake that kind of warmth. That's what keeps her fans loyal. That's what keeps her brand human, even as it grows into something global. And let's talk about that record one more time, because yes, it was historic. But even more than the number, what stuck was the feeling of the moment, the reaction from her friends, the roar of the crowd, the smile she couldn't hold back, the knowledge that she had just done something no one else had, in a sport that isn't even her primary focus. That's the part that lingers. Because Caitlin Clark didn't just walk into a golf course and win. She redefined what winning looks like. She proved that success isn't limited to one field or one box. She proved that you can be dominant and kind, strategic and authentic, competitive and collaborative. She proved that an athlete doesn't need permission to be multidimensional. She just needs opportunity. And when she doesn't get it, she'll create it. And that's exactly what she's doing. So if you've been watching her rise and wondering where it ends, don't. Because it doesn't. There is no finish line here. Caitlin Clark is playing a long game, and she's playing it brilliantly. If this moment hit you the way it hit us, if you felt the power of that shot, the energy of her teammates, the unity of the crowd, and the cultural shift unfolding in real time, then you already know what to do. Like the video. Drop your favorite moment in the comments and subscribe to stay locked in. Because Caitlin Clark isn't just changing the game. She's changing every game, one swing at a time.